First of all, just let me say thank you for everyone at Tufts, students, administrators who helped put this together. As I stand up here tonight, beyond being overwhelmed, beyond feeling blessed, beyond feeling proud, I have to say, looking at all of you, particularly the students, I feel very, very old. So I'm going to do now, I think, at times what older people do and tell some stories. And I think tell what those stories mean to me and tell, I think, what they mean for us. Asi has told you the story of how we did this and why we did this. And really, I think it came down to a very important and central point. We all studied different things here at Tufts. I was a political science major. I studied democratization in the Middle East. I studied healthcare economics. I studied criminal justice policy, and went to EPIC, loved EPIC, and realized that the problems and the promise of our community are just as important as any one of those subjects, and deserves to be discussed with the rigor and the urgency and the eloquence that any one of those subjects deserves. And again, we said, if we're not going to remember that, then who will? So therefore, we have to do this. We have to have a symposium where this conversation takes place again in the form that it deserves. And the story I remember is, and if anyone who from that first year remembers, in the beginning of the day, we were worried about panelists outnumbering audience members. Anyone who's there that first year remembers that. And I remember the end of that night when we had our keynote speaker, and I actually sat in the front, so I actually couldn't see the crowd, but I remember looking over my shoulder and seeing it full. I even remember in the back corner seeing Bruce Reitman looking and being like, they actually did it. They actually did it. He realized what we, I think, knew even before that this is just as important as anything else. I think back to something I heard once said about the civil rights movement, which I think is the second point. And the civil rights movement was described as human rights in black. That the particular struggles of black people here and around the world are writ small the large struggles of everyone else. And I think at times, organizations like this, meetings like this, conferences like this are considered niche. They're considered even self-interested. This is a community looking at itself for its own selfish gain. And what I would say is, if our problems are common, then the solutions are common. Meaning, if there are solutions that can save us, there are solutions that can save us all. If we look at these problems, there's no solution that will solve the black education crisis that will not help solve the education crisis that we have as a nation. If we can solve the black healthcare crisis, we can solve the healthcare crisis in America, where too many people go sick and pay too much money for the privilege. And what I would say to you is that a conversation like this, symposium like this, actions like we hope to take from this, they are not niche, they are not selfish, they are, if anything, the deepest act of public service to your nation. So this is why you being here matters, not just for you, not just for your community, but truly for your country and for the world. I would say next, I don't know if Asi remembers this meeting, but we had a long debate about what to call this. A long debate about what to call this. And so I'll start with one word that we picked, leaders. And leaders, plural. There's no way I could have done this without Asi, absolutely not. There's no way I don't know if you could have done it without me, maybe not. And there's no way we could have done it without any of the amazing people that we named. And again, let me just say their names again. Alma, Zelika, Mitch, Nikila, Kenny, Jonathan, BK, Jared, Ashley, Amanda, Zoe, Janice, Dana, Jasmine, Ernest, and also people in the university who helped us. Bruce Reitman, the Dean of the University College, Alan Solomon, Larry Backow, Ed Swan, the Midyards, leaders. This cannot be done on your own. Whatever needs to be done cannot be done on your own. The greatest resource you have here is each other. And again, for the people who were there that day, everyone who's taking part in this, remember, I'm sure there are people you deputized that day to do stuff for you. Take this panelist here. Show them where the cab is. Help me carry this. People who did it simply because they loved you. And simply because they realized what you were doing was so important. We chose leaders purposefully, and remember that leaders get things done. Very few leaders by themselves do. I would say next, the word emerging. And we had a long debate about this word. What word were we going to pick? And I think the important thing about emerging is that we didn't say future. We didn't say someday. We said emerging, and emerging right now. You all have the ability and the responsibility to work on the problems and the promise that we talk about now, not tomorrow, not the next day. That is the price of the brown and blue halo that you're going to have when you leave this place. It is the price that Booker T. Washington paid with his education, that Du Bois paid, that MLK paid, that Obama paid. That is the price of the education, the halo that it gives you when you leave here. What are you going to do at any given moment to do better for your community? And two last points, and they're kind of flip sides of each other. It can't be done. Whether it's this conference or solving education in America for black boys or any boys or any girls, there are people who are going to tell you it can't be done, and it has to be done, and it's going to start being done by a lot of people who are in this room. Do not ever let that stand in your way, and let this conference stand as one small example and testament to that. And the last thing I'll say is that it can always be done, but it can't be done the same way as it was done before. Asi talked to you about how this organization has changed since we founded it 10 years ago, and we are happy that it is so. The thing I would tell you is that the means must change over time to fit the times, but the values are timeless. You should be innovating each and every single day to try and do better by your community and by your country and by your world, but the values must stay the same, that we move forward together or not at all, as a community or as a country. So the last thing I'll say here is just very simply, what was done for us as alums, what we are attempting to do for you, please do for others. Please help show them the way and help them avoid the pitfalls that you fell into. It is what you can do, and it is what you should do. And there is no greater testament to what we have done than to do that. Thank you very much.